it the whole entire time.
Check. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here goes my my little intro.
Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Creative Office Podcast. It's been 2 weeks, but we are back, and I'm so excited to have our super special guests. Today we have Lane and Ashley Gillman. Hello, you guys.
Hello.
This is so fun. I love having people on here, and it's like, it's just cool. It's just cool to chat with you guys, and it's a little different setting than seeing you guys on a first Wednesday or something like that. And
For sure.
But this is just great. So we're real happy to have them. Just a reminder to share the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Hit the like button. Send it to your friends. Send it to your family members. So back to you guys. We wrote stuff down, and I should have had it ready. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot what we were going to talk about. But I just want, for the people who don't know you guys, just so you guys can introduce yourselves.
Yep.
There's probably people out there who really don't. The team's so big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's probably somebody out there who doesn't know who Lane and
Yeah.
Ashley are. So if you guys want to introduce yourselves, ladies first.
Go ahead.
Well, my name is Ashley, and I used to be on staff at the church. I was on staff for 2.5 years, I think. Yeah. Started in 2020. What a time to get a job right at the start of COVID.
Was it before, though, everything shut down?
No, it was actually after.
Oh, nice.
So we were getting married in July, and then I got offered the job in June, so right before we got married. But I didn't start until we got back from our honeymoon.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then this last spring of 2022, I transitioned to stay home with our boys. So that's what I do now. But we love this church. We love our young adult ministry. So we still help out with worship for Thursday nights with Pastor Phil.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah, I'm Lane. I have been here at Motion Church for, I think 7 years now.
Wow.
I honestly can't remember at this point. But yeah, something like that. I moved back from college and started my job as a teacher. And I kind of honestly was just like, I don't know what to do, where to go. Like, I loved my old church with my family. I've been there for like 20 plus years. And I just felt like I needed a younger community to kind of hang out with and things like that. So I started going to YA. At the time, it was called UGYP. And
What's YP
yeah.
stand for?
Young people.
Or young professionals. It was kind of a controversy.
I don't know if I
feel
like
like
that.
some people
Young
wanted
people?
it to be young
Youngs people.
Was that
the
with
youngsters,
Brandon?
the street youths.
The street youths.
That's funny.
But yeah, anyway, so I attended church here for about a year, and then I got plugged in with the Lindberghs in youth and YA worship, and kind of the rest is history. I've just been serving for the last 6 years or so. And
you guys serve at South on the weekends, right?
Yes,
Or
South Campus.
Southeast?
Occasionally, we make an appearance at Bonnie Lake.
That's true. I've heard of that.
Absolutely.
You make your surprise
Yeah,
appearance.
I mean, before she got on staff and before we were married, I kind of went anywhere people needed me. So
Yeah.
Hashtag West Coast campus.
that's true.
You guys were
Tacoma.
you guys were there for that?
We helped
We
with
were.
West Coast.
Wow.
Yep. But yeah,
Taylor was telling us stories about that campus.
Oh,
it was
yes.
super
That he
fun.
was at South,
Yep.
and then Roger was like, "We need you over there,"
Yep.
and then it went, and then he went back south.
It was
That's
great.
so cool. Ashley, how did you get connected with Motion Church?
So a lot of my friends from high school actually came down here when they graduated to do MI. Or at the time it was Ministry Institute.
Yeah.
I guess that's still MI,
MI.
but
That's fine.
like Hayden Knox
Oh, yeah.
and Tyler Hansen and who else came? Colin Granquist.
Mm.
All went to high school with them. So they all came down right when we graduated. When I graduated, I went to Northwest University in Kirkland. And then I just got plugged in with the worship team down here just because of our friends.
Yeah.
And then I think it was going into my second year of college, I decided to transfer and do the internship.
Oh, you did
So
do the
I did
internship.
yep.
I didn't know that.
So then I
cool.
did that
did.
and finished my AA, and then I didn't know what else to do for school, so I stopped after my AA.
Yeah.
They said I was
But-
too old to do the internship.
Did you really? Nah. No.
I never asked, but I assumed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was just friends.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. were you always like singing? Did you grow up singing? Is that how you wanted to be like, oh, I want to be on the worship team? Or did that just come like, Ashley sings?
No, that's a good question. So I actually grew up soccer, like was my thing for a long time. I didn't grow up going to church. I did like so my family lived in Pennsylvania for like 6 years.
We're going way back.
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry. Let me just pull out my whole timeline of my life for you.
What
June
did it
18th,
start?
1998.
But when we lived in Pennsylvania, we just did like Awanas. Have you heard of that? Okay. It's like, I honestly don't really know what.
It's a little Bible club.
Yeah. But anyways, so when I was in 6th grade, I really started going to church because a girl in my math class invited me to her church. And then I got plugged in there, and they didn't have a worship team, but we went to a summer camp that summer, and they had like this big worship team. And I always loved singing. Like I did choir in middle school. Like our middle school had a choir. Yeah. We did like musicals. Like I loved it. And so I told my friend, she played piano, and our youth group didn't have a worship team. And I was like, we should start one. And her older brother played acoustic. She played piano, I sang, and then our friend kind of played the drums. That was like our
Anybody can kind of play the drums.
I know. That was like our little worship team.
Yeah, that's sick.
And then we played the same like 3 songs every weekend for like a year. But
do you remember the songs?
You know, we were committed. Yeah.
Do you remember the songs that you guys would play?
Yes, we did The Stand, Our God.
The Stand?
Hillsong United.
I didn't grow up in. Oh, yes.
Hence The Stand.
And then Our God.
Okay.
And Forever Rain.
Nice. Those 3 for
It's a great set.
Song repeat.
And then, so then after that, I started taking voice lessons and kind of just started like honing in on my craft, and then started going to a different church where like Hayden and Tyler Hansen all went. And that's how I got to know them. And that's kind of where I really started learning about like worship leading teams and all that. But
cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Elaine? You were just like one day you woke up singing and well, because I've always found it interesting. Sorry, I cut you off.
No,
it's
great.
like you go to school and you know all these teachers, but you don't know like.
Yeah.
I feel like you could go a long time. Like I could have gone through high school and not known that one of my teachers was leading worship at a church.
Right.
Like that's.
Yeah, I mean, so my parents were like first generation believers. Their parents were not initially, and they got saved in college. And then my mom's dad was kind of a singer. He just kind of did stuff on the side, never like for an actual living or anything like that. But he would just kind of run events and all that kind of stuff, and would pull my mom in. And then my mom would sing on our worship team at our old church. Cool. So I didn't really sing at our church or anything like that. I did choir in like middle school and high school. Didn't do anything musical in college at all. And then came back and kind of did a little bit with my mom at our smaller church. And then even when I was here at Motion for the very first year, I actually served on the First Impressions team for like a year. And I lived with one of my old roommates, the Barcelonas. I went to high school with Jessica Barcelona. And she kind of made the connection with the Lindberghs. And and that's how I kind of got plugged in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, do your students know that you lead worship and you're at these conferences and you, like, how does that? I wanted to talk about it later on.
Sure.
But we're in the whole worship setting. So it's like, how do they know or?
Yeah, man. I feel like nowadays, so I'm in my 11th year of teaching at this point, and I am pretty outspoken about about what I do and what I believe in and what church I go to and all the ministries. Because I mean, for a long time, I know we've kind of we had our season in like the high school ministry and youth ministry and stuff like that, and now John's doing a great job with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just always around high school students, and so I felt like, I mean, how could I not share what I do, and not even necessarily like what I do, but what I love to do, and so I'm super vocal about, hey, like I go to this church, I love to do these projects with people and serve the Lord, and hey, you should come check out this conference. We're gonna do great things. We're gonna see the Lord do great works.
And it's free.
and this
And it's
year
free for 2 years in a row.
free.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think earlier on in my teaching career, I think just out of, I guess, like naivety, I was like pretty timid to talk about
you want to
that.
keep your job and you don't know.
Right. And so I think that lasted for like 2 years. And then after a
You're like,
while,
I'm
I was
done.
like, yeah, literally though, honestly, it kind of just like snapped. And I was just like, why am I so scared
Mm-hmm.
to talk about the most important thing in the world?
Sure.
And it just kind of shifted. And so from there on, I feel like even if it's not a promotion of like our church, it's a promotion of the Lord.
Yeah.
And so if they're going to another church, like I'm like, that's great. And as long as you're going somewhere, as long as you're being filled, as long as you're being rooted in the Word, I think that's great. And I've actually seen a lot of like transformations in my students over the years. I mean, I remember I have some pretty like vivid memories of students coming up to me like maybe later on in the year after, I mean, like 6-7 months of me just kind of like dropping like pieces of information about the Lord, the Bible, all that kind of stuff. And I have a couple specific like really vivid memories of people just coming up and being like, hey, I'm in this situation. I know that it's not right, but I can't get out of it.
Okay.
I need your help.
Wow.
Or things like that, just like
Yeah.
lifestyle choices. Because I mean, high school students, at least in the public school system, they're so desperately, well, not just public school system, but in general, they're just so desperately looking to be like filled by something. And I think a lot of people, they just don't have that exposure because their parents aren't going to do it for them. And other educators might not do it for them. Their friends might not do that for them. And so I think that when they get a glimpse of the truth, I've just seen a lot of students just really feel that way, even though they haven't experienced it for themselves yet. And yeah, it's been life-changing, even for me, just to kind of see the impact that just such a small seed, like literally just planting a seed and not even necessarily like seeing the end point of that grow in them. But I mean, it doesn't take that much for them to just know that they're living a life that isn't fulfilling because they're looking for things that wouldn't satisfy them.
Man, that's incredible. And how do like your peers feel about that? Does anybody say anything? Like coworkers, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, none of my colleagues say anything, or I mean, maybe they do. I mean, they don't say anything
that
to
you
me.
don't know of. Yeah.
But no, I mean, they're really great. I love who I work with, and I mean, there are even colleagues that I work with that don't believe in the Lord, and so when I get a chance to pray for them, when I get a chance to encourage them, point them to Christ, I do what I can because it's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's so inspiring because I feel like, especially now, dude, like in 2024, it's such a jacked up year. So many things are wrong. You know, right is wrong and wrong is right. Like you literally don't know. It's really inspiring to hear that, especially in this messed up public school system where that there's people like you know, and like I pray that there are more teachers out there who are unashamed of the gospel,
Right?
Who are proud of who they are, proud believers, and like you were saying, like these kids are just looking to be filled up by the wrong things,
Right?
You know, and if there's something that they could be filled up, it's by the Holy Spirit and Jesus, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that's great, and I applaud you for being that kind of person, and I think that's incredible. And if you're a teacher out there, be like Lane, please. Slogan: be like Lane.
I've had a lot of other good examples that I look up to, but
that's awesome
for sure.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. I was gonna talk about something else, but I'll kind of lead into like. Since we're talking about ministry, because you do ministry in school, you know, in a way, right? You're planting these seeds.
Sure.
Ashley, with your babies, like, what's ministry like with them? Because they grow up in a godly home, and you have your boys, and you just get to pour out into them. And so, because I know we have some stay-at-home moms on the creative team, and if there's any encouragement that you want to share or what that's like, please tell us.
My goodness, it's like, where do you start?
Yeah.
It's definitely not perfect.
Sure.
It's messy, but it's so like there's nothing like it like in the world.
I bet.
I think we both just really had the conviction of wanting me to like be home with our kids.
Yeah.
our boys now and like future kids.
Yeah.
I think just for a lot of reasons, but man, okay, encouragement. What was the question? Can you say?
Yeah, I mean, just
I don't wanna,
She's so
like-
excited she can't
Well,
focus.
I don't want to like go in the wrong direction.
no, you're good. Just speak what's on your heart, because I just want to know like what that's like. Because you went
Yeah.
from full-time ministry,
Yeah.
you went from being at the church all the time,
Mm-hmm.
doing all these conferences, summer camps, which you still are a part of, but it's at a different capacity.
Yes.
And then going to just being a full-time mom, like
Yeah.
not speaking less on it. I'm just saying that dynamic change is
Yeah,
big.
it is.
Sure.
From having I guess like a 9 to 3 job, right?
Yeah.
And then just going to being at home with your kiddos, which I think is amazing.
Yeah.
I remember just being really supportive of that. You told us, I was pretty sad when you told us.
I know.
You're like, we're losing another, because we had Bailey Best on here.
Yes.
You and Bailey.
Oh my
Who left
gosh.
first? You or Bailey?
Bailey.
Bailey left, right? And it's like, okay, one less girl. And then Ashley left. We're like, it's just guys. Let's see if we survive. We were literally talking
no more
yesterday.
balance.
Love you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yesterday in our meeting, we're like, we need a woman on this team.
That is so funny.
Hey, I'll come in for the meeting.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess the biggest thing about even if like you're not a stay-at-home mom yet,
Sure.
but you're thinking about it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I think you have to like know about it is a sacrifice in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice. I mean, the most obvious one is like it's a financial sacrifice
Yeah.
because you're sacrificing a whole other income.
Yep.
There's things though. The beautiful thing though I think about being a stay-at-home mom in this day and age is there's a lot of things you can do from your phone to try to make money. Like
Okay.
I'm even working on something right now to try to do online like from my phone
Shameless
to just
plug.
like help. Yeah.
Yeah.
So stay
By the way,
tuned.
yeah. Check out her Instagram.
No, but that is kind of a cool thing about
Totally.
the culture we live in now. But so you sacrifice financially, you sacrifice like your kind of wants and your personal like goals and dreams
Sure.
that you would like to accomplish. Like it's a season where you lay those down to pour into your kids. You sacrifice like a lot of alone time.
I was gonna say like socializing and stuff and all that. And
Well,
a lot
yeah.
of
It
time.
it looks quite a bit different. For
Yeah,
sure.
you don't
Yeah.
have as much quiet time as like whereas when I worked here, you don't have the kids with you, so you get to like kind of be in your office and just like I'm an extrovert, but I'm also more so of an introvert. I'm kind of like an introverted extrovert. Like I get filled up by being by myself. So
Yeah.
sitting in what was my office during the day would like fill me.
Sure.
And so as a mom at home with your kids all the time, you don't really get a lot of alone time. Even when you're in the bathroom, you don't really get a lot of alone time. So I guess like you choose to sacrifice a lot of these things. But the beautiful thing of it is that you then get to be like the main person that pours into your kids.
Oh, yeah.
Versus like when you're working, you have somebody else that's with them majority of the days, which isn't always bad. I think as if you are a working mom, like you just have to be wise in who you choose to take care of your kids and like, do you trust them? But being home with your kids, like you're the one who gets to teach them. You're the one who gets to correct them and correct them in a way that like you and your husband like agree on.
Yeah.
And in a way that honors the Lord and is biblical. You get to like teach your kids about who God is. You get to have slow days where you go outside and I mean, boys love to be outside. So like I try to take them outside as much as I can, even when it's raining, which isn't fun for me. But like, I don't know, the other day Brooks was like fascinated by a worm. And so like, because of our like free schedule, like we didn't have to rush off somewhere. So like we literally were outside for like 10 minutes, like looking at this worm. Like,
No
I don't know.
way.
It's just like moments like that though, where
yeah.
like your kids can just be kids and you're not having to like rush off to the next thing. I don't know. I think there's a lot of beauty in that. I think our like so much of our society is so fast paced. Everybody's like, you're getting up, you're going to work, you're coming home, you're going to activities, you're going to another
routine,
activity.
yeah.
Like you're barely home during the day because you're going.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of beauty in like countering that and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just,
No,
I
I
think
get it.
there's-
I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. A big encouragement I would have or give to a mom who's at home with your kids is trust that like God's grace is enough for you when you're kind of like at your end. There's a lot of a lot of days where you just get drained. Like
Sure.
your toddlers are like, mom, 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 mom. Your baby's
Mommy,
crying.
mommy,
Like
mom.
our dogs are in the backyard digging
Yeah.
holes, barking at the other dog behind our house.
right.
Like
Oh my gosh.
Brooks is yelling,
Yeah.
Brody's crying, like the house is a mess. Like there's so many things that are just like overstimulating, and sometimes you just lose it. But it's like in those moments, I always find myself praying like, okay, Lord, like please just let your grace just like cover my weaknesses
Right.
and like work farther than like my efforts.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I just think there's beauty in that. And I really do think that the Lord honors your decision to be home with your kids. And I think there's an extra like portion of like blessing that he has for that. So yeah, my biggest encouragement is just know that God's grace is bigger than your shortcomings.
Yeah.
And he cares about your kids a lot more than you care about them,
Right.
which is
Wow.
weird to think about.
No, totally. It's true though.
But it's true. Like he
Yeah.
does care about them a lot, and
Yeah.
he's going to take care of them if you're home with them or if you're not. Like,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I would say too, I mean, I think we absolutely, I mean, we were go in every single ministry for like, or close to every single ministry for like, I don't know, 4 years or so. I mean, we did, YA on Thursdays. We generally did, especially when she was on staff for a couple of years, we did Saturday night, Sunday morning, and then we would do Sunday evening. And we never got tired of it or anything like that. And I think, we just made that intentional choice just to step back a little bit. And it wasn't that our missional like charge by the Lord was decreased in any way. I think the priorities just shifted because I can't remember who said it, and I know that it's probably been restated in a lot of different ways, but we just thought that it was so important to take care of the ministry of our family, because in our minds, that is first and foremost. I mean, we are responsible for these eternal souls to shape them and shift them and correct them by modeling what it looks like to live for Christ. And so, I mean, it is a sacrifice, but at the end of the day, I mean, once you're married, once you decide to have children, I mean, it's something that you've signed up for. And so it is a sacrifice for you as a person, but I wouldn't necessarily look at it like, oh man, like I'm giving up my goals and dreams to help this person. It's more just like, I'm just shifting what my mission is because it's what the Lord has asked of us.
Yeah.
And we're building up a next generation of godly young men in our experience right now to do the same thing and repeat the cycle and continue to build the kingdom of the Lord. So it's been from the surface level, it looks kind of like we took a step back here and there, but we are just extremely happy with where we're at with our family right now, and also having the ability to still be a part of the worship team here.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I had I wrote down like another question of like what ministry is like for you guys to do it together, you know, and I think that's something that, I mean, if there's anything that I've asked the Lord is like for him to give me a spouse that I can do ministry together with.
Sure.
And I think you guys are a wonderful example of people who, I mean, even with the kids, like you guys be coming in with, you know, Brody and Brooks, and it's like, boom, we're here, you know. But I love it because
the caravan.
I love it so much.
The literal van now.
Yeah,
It's
too.
a little van now. That's right. That's right. But I just love when you guys walk in and like the energy that Brooks brings and Brody's smile. Like it's just awesome. But I think the both of you doing ministry is incredible. It's encouraging for a lot of people. And even what you were saying, Ashley, about like stay-home moms, I think that encouragement could somewhat apply to people in general of just slowing down, you know, because life can be so fast and it could be so, let's go. And what do we do now? Instead of like, okay, if I have 10 minutes, like take a breather.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I feel like sometimes in my life, it's like, if I have a break, I don't know what to do with that. It'll happen sometimes where I have time in between like work being done technically. And then first Wednesday, I'm like, what do I do with the 40 minutes I have?
Yeah.
And I'll go like clean something. It's like, no, like take a break, read my Bible, listen to some music. But I feel like I always constantly have to be doing something. So then I'll go from on a Wednesday, I'll start we'll show up for staff chapel at 7:45.
Yep.
You know, go to lunch, and then after lunch until like 3:30, and then rehearsal at 4.
Right.
All the way until we're done,
Yeah.
until 8:30, and then I could finally be like, man, like where did the time go? Like I just had a whole day, and I
Yeah.
blinked twice.
Right. For sure.
You know, and I think a lot of us, especially nowadays, it's like the whole world is just rotating so fast.
Mm.
And I think there's the beauty and the importance of realizing that God wants a lot of us to just slow down sometimes. And I mean, I feel like you've been able to notice that now. It's like from going from this to this, but still being able to have that, like in speed, right? Just being full time all the time, to now being able to be at home. You know, you wake your kids up, and you know, you probably feed them breakfast and all these things, and feed the dogs. Like it's just nice to take that in.
Right.
I think I'm gonna be a full time dad, you guys. I'm convinced.
Do
Hey, if my wife is out there, you better make some bread.
She is out there.
She is out there. Come
Pablo,
on.
We say it all the time in our home. We're just so excited to see how you marry.
Really?
Yes.
I'm
you're
excited too.
We just love
bet
you
you
so
are.
much, and
Oh,
you're
thank
just
you.
so special, and
I appreciate
we
that.
have high expectations for
Wow.
For sure.
for your
Okay.
your lady friend.
Alrighty. So standards are high, ladies.
Okay.
Standards are
They should be.
Yeah, that's good. I guess I'll lead into that. Now we're speaking about like spouses and stuff. How did you guys meet? How did that happen? I put on here cute love story, question mark, question mark. But yeah, now that we're talking about
Do
that,
you
that was a
wanna
good
go
segue.
first, or do you want
Whose
me to?
perspective do you want to hear?
Who said I love you first?
For sure, me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude. Okay. I'll go first.
go Lane, go.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know. I think I'd been here for a few years, and then Ashley got here for the internship. I was living with some friends at the time, and we just started serving together on the same team. I mean, if you know Ashley, you know that she has a crazy anointing
Yeah.
in how
Oh, yeah.
she operates in the spirit while worshiping.
Yes.
And I mean, even outside of worshiping as well, but like while she's leading
Only
the
in worship.
yeah,
I'm
only,
just kidding.
only ever,
Specifically?
only
Yeah.
ever in worship. But yeah, I mean, I was drawn to that. And I actually told one of my roommates while like initially kind of when she came here that I was like, if she's ever single, because she was dating somebody else at the time. But if she was ever single, I would probably try to ask her out.
Try to rizz her up.
Yeah. Yep, I did. But
Let's go.
but yeah, so we were friends for a couple of years, and then we started dating, and we dated for like a year and feels like a year and a half to me.
Uh-oh.
Apparently, it felt like a year longer for her. Yeah, and then we got engaged.
Come on.
Engaged for 7 months, and then got married.
I'm trying to do the math in
Yeah.
my head.
But I mean, it was it was fun to lead with her, to kind of go back to the question that you had before this. It was fun to lead with her in different capacities, like
Sure.
as friends, as boyfriend, girlfriend,
Yeah.
as fiance, now as husband and wife,
Yeah.
and as parents now.
Yep.
And so, it's just been more and more and more fulfilling. And obviously, like as the years have gone by and as we've gotten closer with one another and closer with the Lord, we've really just kind of been able to just kind of like ride the coattails of each other a little
Sure.
bit. I don't know. There's probably a better phrase than that, but like just really
I've
kind
never
of like.
heard that phrase before.
Okay. Well, you should read books more.
Says the English teacher.
Yeah, I mean it's almost kind of like a second nature. I feel like I generally know where she's gonna kind of go and operate,
Yeah.
and I can kind of complement that, and then kind of vice versa.
Yeah.
So yeah, couldn't imagine my life without her.
Aw.
And it's been a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
We're
sure.
gonna put the soundbite.
Aw.
Yeah.
Okay, so my perspective. You want
Yes,
to hear my
it's the
perspective?
exact
It's not
opposite.
much different.
That'd be
It's been the
hilarious.
longest 4 years of my life.
No, so I moved down here, moved into the dorm, started doing the internship, and then we got asked to be team leads together for our young adult ministry. Shout out Taylor Lindbergh.
I was gonna say, did Taylor see something?
Yeah,
Did you already tell him
A
that
little
you
bit.
that you?
I mean-
Okay.
yeah, a little bit.
What did you say?
I just said if Taylor like set it up and put it together,
Oh,
knowing.
I
That.
don't
yeah.
think he set it up.
Not
I think,
not intentionally.
yeah, I don't
Oh,
think he
okay,
set it
okay,
up.
okay.
Yeah, I just think he I mean, he was trying to fill the team looked a little different at the time, and how
Yeah.
like so there was generally for each there was J high worship, there was high school worship, and there was YA worship.
Okay.
I guess similar to what it is now, but
Yeah, now,
for a
yeah.
second it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
And there was like team leads.
Yeah. So,
Okay,
so
okay.
generally
Oh.
there was like 2 team leads for each
Gotcha.
ministry. So
I remember we would go to the Starbucks by the Fred Meyer and plan out our sets for YA.
we did that like once. She makes it sound like it was all the time.
Actually
definitely
called
did that
those.
once.
Oh,
Actually, it was like our first dates, and Lane's like,
yeah, no, but then we did go on a date.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He met. I was working at Purpose Boutique
don't know
in
what
Point
that is.
Ruston.
what is that?
You should
Like a
know what
beauty
this,
salon?
Yeah,
you should know what
you
this
should totally
boutique
know what it
is.
is. No, it's
Pablo.
Is it a
like-
spa?
No, it's a little boutique. But their ice cream social was like right next to it. So he met me when I got off my shift, and then we went and got ice cream
Oh.
and walked on the water. And I remember
On the water?
yes,
Yeah.
we went and walked
Wow.
along the. Yeah, we walked on the water.
That's what you said. Or did you
You
say
did
along
say-
the water?
You
Along
did say
the
we
water.
walked.
Oopsie.
That's funny.
We walked along
So
the
anointed.
water. And I remember I got cold, and he gave me his jacket. So
It was a
cute.
pretty cold night.
Dang it, Jackie, you can't control the weather.
And I just remember I got in my car and I called my mom and I was like, Mom, he's like all the things I wrote on my future husband list.
Funny. That's good.
No, I just remember I was so giddy and it was great. So then we didn't start dating for a while. I think it was like a little less than a year. Then we started dating, and then I think we dated for a little over 2 years and then got engaged.
Wow.
I think that's what it was.
That's good.
Anyways.
Wow, I love
But
that.
yeah, so yep.
And now the rest is history.
Rest
You
is
know what?
history.
I think you might be right. I think
I'm pretty sure I
think
am
it
right,
was
but I
a year
wasn't
and a
going to say
half.
anything.
Hey, don't, bro.
No,
I'm
because
It's not
I,
worth it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It's okay. You're not gonna stop thinking about it though. Ashley's just gonna be like,
That's
"Fine."
fine.
I think you're right.
We'll go back and check.
Yeah, and then we'll add it in the description of the podcast.
Disclaimer.
Let the
Yeah.
record show.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yep.
But that's great. I think a good, cute love story is always good. And now you guys are at the church, you know.
I know. We
And
got
you get to do it
engaged
forever.
right before COVID started.
We did.
How'd you propose, Lane?
I had no idea, by the way.
You did.
Yeah.
I feel like some people
No.
like haven't it. They're like, okay,
I did a
I
pretty
did
good
it.
job.
You did a very good job.
Wow.
The second that I started to suspect that it was going to happen was when we were actually walking out to the water, and his brother.
Wait, was
and
it
wife,
at Point Rustin?
No.
Oh, I
It
thought
was in
so.
Kirkland.
We walked across the water.
Yes, we walked across the water to the
kidding.
dock. But his brother and his brother's wife were there with us, and we started walking towards the water, and then I noticed that they kind of like started walking like farther behind
okay,
us,
okay.
and everybody like wasn't saying anything, and I was like, what is
What's
happening?
happening?
My heart started racing, and I was like looking to see if I could see like a proposal set up somewhere, and I couldn't, and then we finally saw it, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
But
know.
I
yeah.
had no idea.
I got the ring probably like 3 or 4 weeks before I proposed, and
I actually never known how long you had it before you
I
proposed.
think it was something like that. I can't remember.
Did you
I'm
carry
not
it
good
with you all
time,
the time,
I
or
guess.
did you hide it?
I had it hidden.
Oh.
Yep. But yeah.
He's in his baseball caps.
Yeah. She was kind of starting to get mad at me before I proposed. She was kind of like, "When are you gonna do it? When are you gonna propose?"
Was I really?
Yeah, a little
I
bit.
don't remember these
Yeah.
things.
Anyway. Yeah.
That's cool though. But good job for not having her suspect it.
Yeah, you
I
did.
know.
And then
I know.
I do remember this part. Afterwards, we were walking back to our car through downtown Kirkland, and we were crossing a road, and this person was walking towards us, and I was like, "We just got engaged!"
And what did they do? They were like,
She just
okay,
kind of looked at us.
The lady was like, "Oh, good for you," or something like that.
It was awesome.
leave me alone. Yeah, that's so funny. Oh, that's cute. I love that. But yeah, I just love hearing all these stories. I think it's so cool. And just the biggest thing about like the pod is just people getting to know you guys.
Mhm.
You know, people that we see on the altar, we see at church all the time and conferences and on records. But it's just nice for, our people to see you guys and know you. I just think it's cool because now whoever listens to this will just know these stories and be able to hear about you guys. And
That's true.
and I think that's so great. I kind of want to lead into that, and then we'll kind of simmer down here. Because you guys are YA leads,
Yep.
that's kind of that is your ministry.
Yeah.
We've talked about, John has talked about a vision for the youth.
Mhm.
Caleb has talked about vision for the creative team as a whole.
Yeah.
But what's your guys' vision for YA? Like, where's your hearts? I just want to hear your hearts. And for people who serve on the YA team, I just want to hear you guys what the Lord has put in your hearts for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Thursday nights have been so special
They've
recently.
they've been great.
It's been wild. So I guess like for this current season, well, I'm gonna break it down into two things. One, just like this is kind of always the vision for our team is to do you remember?
Ashley's trying to remember what she prepped for this question.
Oh my goodness.
Do you have it on your phone?
No.
I don't have my phone with
I mean,
me.
I think in the gist.
Equip.
Okay.
What was
I
the
think
other
I think the
word?
gist of it was
I'm
just
panicking.
to make sure. I mean, because I think in my mind, I mean, I think a lot of people think that like high school students kind of experience the biggest transition in their younger life stage,
Okay, sure, I
going
can
from
see
like
that.
high school to college or high school to workforce. I almost think that that the transition from like, I know not everybody goes to college now, but like college age to whatever is next in life, because that's generally, I mean, you might be able to switch careers and things like that, but I mean, that's a huge adjustment that people don't think about. And a lot of times, I mean, high school and
deal.
college and things like that generally are pretty structured, but then once you leave that setting,
like,
it's
what
just
do I
kind of, it's like open.
Yeah.
And so I think one of our big things for our specific team, and this isn't necessarily like the vision, this is just more so just for like our creative team for the young adults, is just to find like a deeply rooted community that loves the Lord and gives off a sense of belonging. I think, I mean, and to kind of piggyback off of what Ashley said, and you can chime in anytime you want.
Anything.
But you said
Started.
you said the word equip, and I think that a lot of young
Equip
adults
and encourage.
There you go.
But I think a lot of young adults feel like their worth is kind of being like tested almost, and they feel a little lost, I think, in their calling. And so I think just taking truth from Scripture and equipping that, or equipping our young adults with that truth, I think is one of the most valuable things that we do. Because I think a lot of times, a lot of our young adults, now just talking more like a broad sense, that go to Thursday nights, they think that, I got to try to stop doing this. I got to try to stop doing that, get my life and act together and things like that. But I think that in order to do that, you have to be equipped with the word of the Lord. You have to be equipped with truth that is going to replace something that is lacking. And so I think, at least in my opinion, that's kind of what we're talking about with equipping, and equipping them to be great leaders, equipping them to have a sensitivity to the Spirit while they're leading. And so, I don't know if you want to add anything to that. Or...
No, just like equipping and encouraging. That was the
Yeah.
the words I was trying to
She got
think
it,
of
everybody.
earlier. Equipping and encouraging our team members, but then also our ministry as a whole as a team.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like our team equipping and encouraging our ministry with like moments in worship to encourage them to go out and then have those moments like in their own time. I guess you kind of broke that one down. But then also like, I mean, I feel like we're really big on like if somebody wants to learn how to do whatever, or somebody wants to have a shot at leading, like I don't think we're people who are afraid of giving out opportunities like that, but we like to really like work with people to get them to a spot where they can do that and equipping them with what they need to go out and do those things.
Right. Yeah.
Because I was telling Lane I really wanted to reference this today. I was listening to this new song by Passion.
Okay.
I guess it's been out for a little bit, but new to me. I can't remember what it's called. But it was from their most recent conferences.
It's from their new album.
Yeah, their new album. But he says something along the lines of like you feel the tension growing, like talking about like the tension in between, like here on earth. He was like, we can feel the tension growing. It just means like, Jesus, you're getting closer.
Wow.
And then he says like, Jesus, you're already on the move. And I listened to that for the first time today when the boys were napping. And I literally just started like crying because it just gives you this perspective of everything we do, like from the moment we wake up to the moment when we go to bed, everything we do on this team, everything we do at home with our kids, everything we do in our jobs, everything we do with other people that God has placed in our life, like it is all a part of this grand plan that the Lord is orchestrating to make a way for Christ's return.
Right.
Like everything we do is either going to aid in Christ's return or it's going to build up our own like plans and our own desires and our own dreams. And not that your dreams are bad. I think sometimes your dreams and God's plans can be hand in hand.
Yeah. They just have to be
coexist.
prioritized correctly.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I don't know. I just felt like so challenged by that. So going back to the vision for our team, our main like vision for our team is to encourage and equip. But I think at the end of the day, we just want our team to remember that what we're doing is like so much bigger than us. And I think especially as creatives, especially as musicians and vocalists, it can be so easy to fall into the trap of
look at this cool thing that I did.
Yes, because everything you're doing is like with your gifts. And everything we're doing, at least for the band and vocalists, is on a platform where people are watching you.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at like Satan, like he was
for sure.
the choir director of heaven.
Were you scared to say his name?
Well, I'm not.
You must not be.
I didn't know. Well, I didn't know if I said the enemy.
You were like, Satan.
Is he here?
No. But I mean, that was like the first original sin was like selfishness. And I just think it can be so easy as really worship leaders, as musicians, to fall into that. Right. And so just always reminding our team, this is so much bigger than us. We cannot do this like on our own. I feel like in most rehearsals, when like I pray over a rehearsal, I always say something along the lines of like, God, would you like equip us with your grace? Like we cannot do this without you. And the reality is you could do it in your own strength, but when you do it in your own strength and your own, like from your human abilities alone, what you're doing doesn't have that eternal impact. So like, could you do it on your own? Yeah, you could do it.
Oh yeah.
But is it going to be the real like grimy ministry?
Right. I also think we also just encourage our team too, that it's not like we as a band can kind of quote unquote create things, but I think at the end of the day, the Lord and his Spirit like create the moments. I think it's just our job and opportunity to steward them well. And so I think it's more so than just like, I mean, obviously you can like create a new song for the Lord and things like that. But I think at the end of the day, what he calls us to do that is more important is just to steward those moments. So just like, and to cause that, what Ashley was saying, just the idea that that this is so much bigger than us, and our goals and dreams have to align with God's versus the other way, where like God aligns with what we want. So
I've had a lot of conversations with people recently about I guess just like deepening your like your relationship with the Holy Spirit to be able to discern like in worship settings. For me, I always feel like I receive a lot of words from the Lord in worship settings, but as like worship leaders, I feel like I've had this conversation so many times recently of when you receive a word from the Lord, your job as the worship leader is to discern, okay, God, is this word just for me? Like, are you speaking this to encourage me? Or is this a word for the room that's going to like shift something in the room? Because I think if you can't distinguish between the two, then you're just always going to like blurt out whatever the Lord puts on your heart. And sometimes when that word may have been just for you, it could detract or pull away like from what the Lord is doing. And obviously God is like big enough to use everything.
Sure.
But it's like your job as a worship leader to like discern, okay, God, are you speaking that just to me? Or is this like for the room? Is this is this going to help accomplish something that you're working towards? Like in this moment, I don't know. That's like a big conversation. I feel like we've had a lot.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah, that's so good. And I think discernment isn't as important as like skill, because I think you can, like how you both were saying, you could be talented, and you could totally do it. Somebody could totally play drums and bass and sing all these crazy riffs. But also, it's like to have the discernment from God, to have the voice of the Holy Spirit to do certain things at certain moments is much greater than, oh, if I sing so beautiful, the Spirit's going to fall.
Right.
You know, something that somebody told me while I was growing up, well, I'm still growing up, but like into the worship leading role, it was like someone was straight up there like, look, bro, you could think that you sing really good and you could want the Spirit to fall, but if your intentions aren't pure, like if you're not giving the space to the Holy Spirit, then God is not going to move because of you. God's going to move because he's gracious and because he loves us. Right. And there could be one person in that room that really wants the Spirit to move and is like, God, please fill me. It's like the Spirit will move for that one person. And then there's the worship leader on stage just like, yes, the Spirit moved. And it's if only we knew that, you know, there's probably one person that their faith is so big that the Lord was like, okay, I'm going to descend.
For sure.
And it's so easy to think, oh man, like I killed it. Like the band sounded so great, the Spirit was heavy. That's not necessarily why the Spirit was heavy, just because the band sounded great. But that's something that, because you guys know I serve at another church too, and so I tell them, I'm like, guys, like if we are willing to let ourselves be used by the Lord, you know, along with our talent that he has given us, it's not even our own. It's like then the Spirit's going to move. But if there's one person on the worship team that's like, nah, I'm going to do it my way and I'm going to play these drum fills and these riffs because I want to, then all we're doing is, you know, we're creating a disturbance for the Spirit to move. And I've always prayed this prayer. I'm like, Lord, please don't allow me to be the reason that somebody doesn't receive a blessing.
Sure.
Because it almost feels like it becomes a burden on my life.
Right.
Because, I mean, I've had so many people in my life that have given that space to me. It's like, bro, this is your moment. You know, this is you and God. I don't ever want to be somebody that's like, sorry, dude, this is my moment, not yours and God's. So there's that importance of just having that discernment and having that Holy Spirit be like, nope, stop, not right now. Like, now's not your time. Or this word isn't for this person. This word is for that person.
Right.
You know, and I just think that's great. But
Can I give a hot take really quick?
Please. Let's hear it.
I don't know why I've like thought about this so much recently in services and rehearsals.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, I don't want people to respond in times of worship because of the like musical atmosphere.
Because of a cymbal wash?
Yes.
A big cymbal wash.
No,
People
you know
are like,
what I mean?
ah!
No, but seriously.
Yes,
or
I
like,
understand you.
You know, like those songs that we're just like, oh, that song just like hits really good. Okay, but does it hit because of the music?
You know what song I feel like people just are like, oh, Yahweh, Rapha, Elohim. Have you guys heard that song?
I think so.
No.
Or like Yeshua, or like Yeshua.
Yes.
Yeshua.
Yes.
People are like, and it's like almost like a rock song.
Sure.
And people, are you just vibing out with like the chords, or are you really like singing the name of God?
Yeah, I
you
know. But like seriously, I think about that sometimes, like from time to time, like in services where like you're playing a song that people are just like, oh yeah, like like the drums are building, like everybody's like, oh yeah, and then you drop into the chorus and everybody's like, woo.
Yes.
But I'm like, okay, but are you just responding because you're having this like emotional like experience to this song?
To the sound,
Or are you like genuinely worshiping because like you're encountering God?
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I think
no.
about that a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you could say that for any song though. I mean, when it comes down to it, I think what matters is the posture of your heart.
Yeah.
And I think that that the presence of the Lord is going to rest on those who have clean hands and a pure heart. And I mean, there could be big songs like that, but I think whether it's the intimate moments or some of the big songs, but I mean, I think it boils down to intention behind those things.
Yeah.
Not to throw water on your hot take.
Yeah, thanks, sweetie.
Extinguished.
I was just saying, like, painting a broad
I totally
brush.
get it.
I wasn't picking a specific song.
Yeah, no.
I gotcha.
I'm just saying.
I put a specific song, but not actually.
But I'm just like, when you're really going for it in worship, like, just check your heart that you're not going for it because the song's building.
Yeah,
but like,
for sure.
Yeah.
But hey, hot take.
That was a good hot take.
That was a good.
Thanks, babe.
So good. I think we're gonna wrap it up. It's been
On that note, get these guys out
we're
of here.
done. I'm just kidding. No, you guys, this was so fun to just sit here and chat with you guys. And
Yeah, for sure.
I've talked to you guys all the time enough, but this is the same thing with Taylor. It's like I see him and I get to talk to him, but it's nice to just sit down and just have good conversation. That's what I love about doing the podcast. I'm very camera shy. Like I'm not somebody who loves to sit in front of a camera, take pictures. But doing this is so great. Like I've gotten more and more comfortable, and being able to have guests like you is just incredible. And yeah, we'll have you again on the pod.
Come on.
Whether it be individually or together again. I don't know. I just wanted it to be.
Bring our kids next.
Yes.
Brooks would love this.
Oh, he would. I thought they were going to be in here.
That's funny.
Oh, you don't want them to be in
No?
here.
You sure? Maybe when they're older. Maybe 5 years.
They went to go. They went to go worship.
Yeah. That's so good. But hey, Brooks is going to be a drummer. We know that for
It
sure.
feels like it.
I think so.
Or a singer, honestly. Or both. He
Or
could do
both.
True.
He's
He'd
good.
be a
Yeah, because he
little
loves singing
chameleon.
praise.
Yes, he does.
As long as I'm breathing, I've
He's
got
so
a
cute.
reason to
He goes,
praise.
he is so like well, this probably says more to our lack of rotation of worship songs, but he like
That's
just
totally okay.
learns like all these songs. Like the other day
Yeah.
I was playing what's the Danny Goki one? Center or
Christ is
Christ.
the Son.
Christ is the center. And I was just listening to it in the car, and he literally was like singing to it like in the back seat.
Yeah.
I was like, buddy.
Yep.
Anyways.
I love church kids.
Me too.
I was a church kid, and just being able to grow in that environment, and that's amazing. But yes, thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for having us.
Yeah, you guys got to go with your kids. So
We gotta
I got to
go.
clean up. I got to do other stuff, but this is so good. Thank you guys so much. We finally got it to work out,
Come on.
which was wonderful. I was like, okay, if they can't, what's my backup plan? Because I always do this. I ask somebody,
Yep.
and then they can't, and they don't have a plan B, so then there's no podcast episode. Like that kind of
That's
happens
smart.
a lot.
That's smart.
But I am just, my plan B was to upload Team Night
Okay. There you
instead of this. I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that
yeah.
was like my okay if they
Yeah,
if they
that's
can't
good.
make it, but it's okay. Thank you guys so much,
Yes.
Yep.
everybody. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Like, subscribe again. Like I said, share it with your grandmas, share it with your mom, share it with your church friends, share it with your coworkers. And yeah, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much.